And at that moment, I felt sick. That I jumped on as quickly as I could. I clenched my phone and my keys and I looked around, but then I couldn't see them on the bus. And then I burst into tears. And I stayed on for a few stops until I jumped off and grabbed a cab.
It's upsetting, but this kind of story is one we hear all too often. That feeling of isolation when others are around is terrible. Sometimes it's about having that knowledge to even notice these things in the first place. There's often an assumption that situations like this don't happen in the day, but we know too well that they do, and not in public like our next story.
So I was on my way home from uni and I'd just missed the bus, but that was pretty normal. And I stood there for a bit and waited, and then a spot came up on the bench, so I decided to sit. I used to listen to my music low so I could still hear stuff around me. My bag was close, I'd wrapped the strap around my wrist, and I must have been tired because I can remember just sort of closing my eyes for a bit. I felt one person leave the bench and another settle next to me, and it was busy, so it didn't really bother me, just kept my eyes shut. And then I realised a hand was on me. I sat up as the hand quickly pulled away, but it shook me. I didn't know if maybe someone had been in my bag, so I checked it and everything seemed to be fine. It felt as though the hand might have touched my thigh, but that could have only come from that guy next to me, so I just sat there staring ahead, listening to music. I'd convinced myself that I must have dozed off, so I just moved over a little and just kept an eye on him. But then, hidden by his bag, he slowly moved his hand to my side and began to graze my thigh with his fingers. When I think of that now, it makes me feel sick. But at the time, I just couldn't be sure if it was maybe just an accident. I just didn't want to cause a scene. Maybe he just was scratching his leg or something. So I sat for a moment.
What are you going on about? A photo?
And I decided to take action.
A photo of
maybe
you?
it was
Why would I be taking a photo of you?
Blatant. By letting out a yawn and nudging him away, but it carried on.
Sorry, I'm just going to pause there for a second. It's all too common when no one around you seems to be noticing a thing. So you question yourself. It's isolating and disturbing. Let's continue.
I turned to face him and was going to say something like, "Can you stop touching me?" But nothing came out, and I must have looked stupid. And he quickly jumped on the next bus with a bunch of other people, and I was just left there, totally beside myself. A little relieved, obviously, but I just cried. I didn't know what just happened.
Hearing this is awful, but that's why it resonated with the theme today, as I wanted to discuss what we might be able to do in these sorts of situations to take the right steps to become an active bystander.
Hey, are you okay?